Okay, so at this point we have created SOP, we have activated SOP. Now let's move on. Let's add products to SOP. So before doing that, I will do a couple of things. So once user is logged in, so right now anyone can visit this route without logging in. So first of all, let's go to code editor and let's go to web.php and protect those routes, SOP related routes. So I'll put middleware auth to it. Now to visit open your SOP route, it is asking to enter credentials. Okay, so after SOP is activated, user receives the email, your SOP activated, and we're taking user to just a random page where it is die dumping information. So let's log in as seller. Yeah, so right now it is just die dumping the seller's name and SOP's name. So what we'd like to do is we like to take this user to admin panel where user can view their SOP. So like so, currently this is the case. They can view SOP like this. So the problem with this is they can view anyone's SOP here. So what we would like to do is only display their SOP. So after going to view, they can display and they can see their own SOP detail like so. Sorry. So to do that, we need to modify the controller provided by Voyager. So right now we are not handling CRUD operations ourselves. We are just utilizing the CRUD built in with this Voyager admin panel. So to do that, we need to modify the controller for this SOP. So let's log in as admin. So admin can view more options. So if you see, admin should view all SOPs, that is fine. Let's log in as admin. Okay, so admin should see all the options: add new SOP, edit, delete, view, that is fine. So for sellers, we have limited access. So we have modified that over in here in roles, in seller. So we can edit the seller here. We can constraint, we can limit the access of the seller from here. So right now seller can only browse SOPs and read SOPs. Alright, so to do that we need to override the controller. So whenever when we created this bread for the SOPs, there is option to specify the custom controller. So here SOPs, edit. So here we can provide our controller name and it will hook in all the code for displaying SOP, editing and all this stuff. So in overwriting this file, also overwriting section of documentation, we can use our own custom controller like so, and then extend this Voyager based controller. Yeah, that's it. And then we need to fill in the detail on the bread. So let's do that. So right now we have SOP controller. So what I'm thinking is not to use this controller for the admin related operations. So this SOP controller is only for front end stuff like displaying create SOP form on front end. So this is considered as the front end of the website. So open shop doesn't contains any admin related layout and all stuff, so I'm separating this controller from the admin controller. So for admin I will generate separate controller. Let's open up terminal. PHP artisan make controller. I will call it shop controller, but I will generate this inside the admin folder. So admin slash, so this will create shop controller inside admin with all namespace. So this won't be the resource controller. Alright, so controller created successfully. Let's go to that controller. So you can see this admin folder is created and there is shop controller. So instead of extending this controller, we need to extend a voyager base controller, this one. And in this voyager base controller you can see all other methods like index, create, everything. You can see index method, so index, so all other CRUD operations. So in our case what we are doing is we are trying to edit this browse view. So this browse view is coming from the index method. So let me show you. So we are trying to override this method, index method, from base controller to this controller. So to do that, I will copy everything from this index. I'll copy this all. Yeah, why not just copy this comment as well? Just easy to view. All right. So what I just did is I copied this index method from voyager base controller into our custom controller. So now we have control over everything. We can do anything here. So for now, let's die dump. This is index method. All right. So right now, if you refresh this page, nothing will happen because you need to tell the voyager that we want to use our custom controller. So let's go to the admin. So here we are logged in as admin. So we have that option. So in this bread, shops bread, you can visit from tools bread and then edit the shops bread. And here you can specify the controller name. You have to specify full controller name like so, with full namespace. You can also copy like this and then replace with the shop controller from there. Same thing. Okay, so once you edit this bread, just submit it or save it. So it is saved. Now let's go back to view shops. So here we are on view shops. Now we are hooking in this index method. So yeah, our custom code is hooking in. So if I comment this out and go back and refresh, it should display same as before. Alright, so we forgot to import this. Control Alt I, this facade voyager. So make sure you import everything. Import DB as well. Control Alt I. This auth also. So yeah, everything has been imported. And now let's go back. Let's refresh. Yeah, so we can see shop. So now here what we will do is only add one query which will only show the customer's shop only. Logged in customer's shop. So here if I go here, it is just getting slug, getting data type, so checking for permissions and all of the stuff, pagination related stuff, ordering by. So this data type contains everything like SOPs model data type content. So data type is SOP, content contains all the SOP related data. So what we can do over here is we can find a query. So this is the query. So we can edit this query over here. Query to display sellers SOP only. So to do that, we need to run query where. So in SOPs model we have user ID field. So user ID matches auth ID, authenticated user's ID. So this is the query we need to add. So now if we refresh, we should see only one SOP, like so. Pretty cool. Alright, so for seller it is fixed, but if you go to the admin and if admin tries to visit SOPs, so admin can't view any SOPs, right? So for admin, we need to check here if the role is admin. So if auth user has role admin, so we'll apply if not admin. So for non-admins, it only applies for non-admin, or you can say seller. Yeah. So if auth user has role seller, then only this query applies. For other, it won't apply. So admin can view all SOPs, and seller can view only each SOP and can view other detail as well. Alright, so we need to allow this seller to edit their SOP as well. So for that, let's log in as admin and go to the user management or roles management, and here seller got a lot of options. Let's edit. So we need to let sellers edit SOPs as well. Alright, let's submit. Now let's go back to the sellers view, and if we refresh, we should see. So alright, here in sellers, I want to edit the row, edit the permissions. For seller, I want to allow this edit SOPs permission to seller. When I submit, let's edit once again and see if that is applied. So as you can see, I added this permission, but it didn't apply it. So I searched for it, and they are saying that you should add this controller in the role spread. So let's do that. Go to tools, bread. Yeah, there shouldn't be these kind of errors, these kind of bugs. What can we do? Go to roles, edit, in controller. So we are using the voyager role controller for that. Let's see if this fix. So this role bread comes by default, we haven't done anything. So let's go ahead and try to change edit the permission once more. So let's give sellers permission to edit their shop. Submit it. Let's see if it changed anything. Yeah, so it changed. So looks like a small issue there. Okay, so once that is fixed, let's go to the sellers admin panel. Alright, so now if you log in as seller, you can see this one more button for edit. We can view, we can edit our own shop information. We can change like, yeah, so it edited. So the problem here is seller can edit another user's shop by just changing the URL ID in URL. So suppose seller want to edit the shop 4, it can directly hit from here and it can edit another shop. So we want to restrict seller to do that. So to do that, we need to create a policy class. Let's go to terminal and let's create a policy, shop policy we'll call it. So PHP artisan make policy, I'll call it shop policy. This policy is for model shop. So policy created. If I go to shop policy file inside app policy, now I can hook in all the authorization related stuff over here. So for update, I want to change something. So I want to change in this update here. So this user contains the authenticated user. So I'm checking if this ID equals to shop user ID. So in this case, it should allow to edit, otherwise false. So this will return true or false depending on whether this condition satisfy. So this will check if user ID is equals to shop's user ID. If it is so, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. That's it. So same thing I want to do for view. So after we created policy, we have to hook in to this. For that we need to log in as admin. So for simplicity, I've logged in as admin in other browser. So here in shops, edit it, and in policy, where is policy? Here. So we can specify the policy class name over here. So just double check. Yeah, app policies, shop policy. So now that policy related code will hook in when we try to do something different. So we can go to shops. Alright, so after you edit that policy class and you visit to this route, boom, you see this unauthorized action. So the problem here is in policy class, it generates these default methods like view any, view, create, update, and all. So voyager contains 3 bread. So voyager's authorization methods are browse. So let's create that, browse. And if we do, so this browse contains same as authenticated user. So if we make this return true, then it will pass for all user, and if we refresh, we should see the shops. Alright, so if we make this false, no one can see shops. There we go. So I've also after you create the policy, you should register it like so. Let's see what happens if we do not register it. Will it still works? Looks like so. So for using in other Laravel related route, you need to register in all service provider, but for voyager, looks like they register it themselves for their use in admin panel. So yeah, we don't need to register this policy. Okay, so in browse, let's allow everyone, or we can check like this. We'll only allow, so to make more secure, so has role seller. So yeah, seller role user can only browse the shops. So these, let's get rid of these. So we are making policy for voyager, that's why we need bread, browse, read, edit, update, and delete. Alright, so this I edited this shop policy and I removed all other methods and just put like this: browse, read, edit, add, and delete. So which will match up with bread authorization. So only seller can browse and only the real owner can read, like so, and real owner can edit, and real owner can delete. So they can view their shop. So if this user try to view the anyone else shop, like with by changing ID, it will say unauthorized action. So let's see while editing what happens. Yeah, unauthorized action. So before it was someone was able to access another shop by going here, but this time it is not the case. Okay, so for seller our permission is all right. Now let's go to admin, and admin should see all other shops. Right now admin's authorization is all broken. So for admin, what we can do in Laravel documentation for overriding for admin, there is one method. Let's search for it. So here we go. So there is policy filter. So for certain user, we may wish to authorize all action within a given policy. So to accomplish that, we need to define the before method and we should make it true. So let's copy that. Let's go to our code editor, and here we have to define this before method. So we'll check if user has role admin, then admin can do all of the action. So the policy or this authorization check will be disabled for admin by adding this method. So let's go to admin and refresh. Yeah, so admin can do everything. Alright, so this is how we define policy. So policy definition will be same. So for voyager, slightly different thing. You just need to edit, change the naming for it. Yeah. And by the way, let me show you how they are using it. So if you go to shop controller, which is inside admin, so they are doing in Laravel way, like this authorize, and then checking this browse, like so. So this browse is already defined here. Browse, they can only seller can browse, like so. Okay, so with that set, we have defined the authorization, and user can view their shop, edit their shop, and do all other operations related to their shop. Alright, so if you want small homework, what you can do is you can create a bread for products as well. So at this point we do not have bread for products. We can create that for products, and only the seller can add item to their product. So we'll do that next.